Hi there, it's Ron Gula from Gula Tech Adventures. Today we're going to talk about a 50-year-old lesson in cybersecurity. Now, when I started learning about cybersecurity, I read some of the great papers. Smashing the Stack for Fun and Profit, Improving the Security of Your Site by Breaking Into It, and There Be Dragons. But I missed, and I had this recently pointed out to me, a story about 30 years later, lessons from the Multics security evaluation. As I learned about this, I realized that this paper itself was written in 2002, and it was referencing work that was done 30 years before. Now that it's 2022, that makes it a 50-year-old cybersecurity paper. Now, why was this worth doing a video on and telling you about it? Well, in the 70s, we had our disco, we had our ABBA, we had our, we were getting ready to have Star Wars and whatnot. But if you were working with computers back in the day, you were probably working with nuclear weapons, Department of Defense stuff, really interesting research. Your computers probably look something like this. And if you actually had a computer, you were probably involved in national defense. It probably ran Multics. So stories about security issues in Multics are very, very relevant to the national security of the country in the late 70s. Now, Multics was an operating system. There's many, many different kinds of operating systems. And if you know people who develop operating systems, they can be very particular about the design choices they made. Multics was available for a long time. It has an interesting history. But this paper, to get back to that, was about the security issues and the security features that were in Multics. See, Multics had a lot of different opportunities to kind of be the next operating system. So the quote here, the lessons learned from the vulnerability assessment are highly applicable today. Now, again, this is 2002, as governments and industries strive unsuccessfully to secure today's weaker operating system through add-ons, hardening, intrusion detection systems. That's exactly what we have today. We sprinkle all sorts of cybersecurity technology across unwell-designed networks in the hopes of keeping them secure. Now, Multics had a lot of advantages out the box. It was designed with security in mind. Everything was a standard feature. It wasn't like you had to pay extra for it. It didn't have any buffer overflows, and it minimized complexity. Now, if you compare that to today, where we still have software distributors coding with languages like C and C++ that are, inherently creating security bugs, we haven't come much further. Another quote from the paper: in the 1970s, with the Cold War raging, our assumption was that most immediate professional penetrators would be foreign espionage agents and that the defense establishment would be the targeted choice, but we expected commercial penetrators to follow. Now, if you look at the risk that complex computing brings to the country today, you have to question sometimes, we are losing a lot of intellectual property. We do have a lot of complexity out there. Our lives are better for it, but we're really running around, trying to fix things that's hard to do. So the paper itself predicted a lot of really interesting things: trapdoors, malicious developers, sounds like SolarWinds, boot sector viruses, compiled trapdoors. Boy, if you have a developer and their actual compiler has backdoors being added to software, you're never going to detect that. It's really tough, really tough. So the paper concludes, hey, look, even in 2002, they felt security's gotten worse, not better. Why bring something like this up? This seems kind of depressing. Well, a great man once said, those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it, right? Winston Churchill. And, that's kind of where we're at today. We lost an opportunity to kind of make computers as secure as they are. Now, we have glimmers of hope. If you look at the Apple iPhone, if you look at the Google Chromebook, we have really good, hardware control, really good control of what's out there. We still have a long way to go, though, when you look at all of the things where we have a lot of complexity. OSs, browsers, our software in the cloud, our infrastructure in the cloud. Everything can be a little too complex, and we've got a lot to work here. So if you want to learn more about Multics and read the paper, I found a great website about the myths and history of Multics. If you haven't downloaded or figured out where that paper is yet, you can look at this QRC code, just hit pause and do that. And I would encourage everybody to read the papers from the past as they predict the future. And if you've enjoyed this video, please visit us at gula.tech or watch more videos on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching today.